important that we catch up on what is making headlines, and that is exactly what we're going to do today on Trends in the Papers, as we always do. And aside from the daily paper review, we make information available via our social media platforms, and so we ask you to give our social media platforms the same attention that you give our live programs. Our platform or our social media platform is very immediate, and you can catch stories before we even bring them on radio. We have a website also that you can use to familiarize yourself with the programming, the schedule, the presenters, and across board we are Mainland 98.3 FM. Only on X, where we are Mainland FM, X formerly known as Twitter, where we are at Mainland FM. So do well to settle in and join me, and we will take a very, very short break so that I can give you some of the stories that trended over the course of the weekend before we introduce our in-house analyst Fᴜʟʟ to analyze the stories that we have for this morning. We'll be reviewing The Guardian, The Punch newspaper, and The Vanguard newspaper. But I told you in my intro that we would be focusing a lot on developing stories. It's been a follow-up on events that played out last week. So let me build up the conversation properly before we bring Fᴜʟʟ on board. I'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
And we're back. Thank you for your patience. Now to the stories that trended over the weekend. We have from the Guardian newspaper, Tğᴇ Tinubu urges prayers for troops, tax Nigerians on unity, sacrifice. June 12, federal government declares Thursday public holiday to mark Democracy Day. Aftermath of Mokwa tragedy, policy shift, climate risk assessment as strategies to tame flooding. Lagos Calabar project, Afenifere faction demands Tinubu's impeachment. Gwogwongwo singer Mike Ejiaha is dead. Veteran high life musician, the one who became quite famous because a TikToker used his song and he trended. The Gwogwongwo singer, he died over the weekend. May he so rest in peace. We also have Osun State Government APC chair clash over alleged looting of local government secretary. Serap urges Tinubu, God told me, stay at RCCG or your firstborn will die. This is according to Pastor Adeboye, who caused quite a stare on social media on Saturday. Single-use plastic dealers accuse Lagos of insensitivity, seek phased ban. Now, moving on to the Punch, over the weekend we saw a defection. PDP moves to flush out disloyal members, doubles capacity. Nigeria's economy growing despite short-term pain, says Bagudu. Ondo PDP accuses Aiyedatiwa of dumping Akeredolu's projects. We have Soludo gives 39 million naira to wounded soldiers in Anambra. Kano demands compensation from federal government over Dober cancellation. Lagos arrests 36 street traders. And finally, for the Vanguard newspaper, we have Villa quiet as critic Bakare suspended Fubara defecting Adeleke fire West Road. We have fire destroy goods worth millions at Kara Market in Kebbi. Mieti Ala decries killing of members, rustling of over 1,000 cattle in Benue. Senator Wadada blames his imminent exit from STP, Ekwebom governor defection to APC. This is just a few of the stories that trended over the weekend. A lot more did trend, but we don't want to spend so much of our time reviewing stories that had gone by. We selected the most significant ones, and we're going to build on those stories the minute we have Fᴜʟʟ join us. We're streaming the program live. As I said earlier, do well to join the live stream so that you can communicate with us, interact with other people like you who are on the live stream and are also listening. So you can talk to people using the live chat option on our Facebook platform. And this allows for continuity. So even after the program is over, you can join the conversation. Fᴜʟʟ decided to join us live today. We're not going to turn on his microphone, so he should go to his office and use his phone. But it's so nice to have Fᴜʟʟ live in the studio today. Fᴜʟʟ, why?
Good morning, Lagos.
Good morning to you too. Why? Why are you here today?
I wanted to give you a surprise.
I'm not surprised.
I was seeing the calls and I felt, okay, let me just come in, sneak in. Definitely does.
No, so please, that was verifiable for us. What is it fun? Like, how are you doing today, Fun?
Oh, very good. It's a public holiday, so the road is free.
So you're excited
I think a lot of people have traveled, actually.
Yes,
a lot
yes.
of,
I got here in less than 45 minutes.
It was a smooth
As opposed to
drive
2 hours.
from home here. I think less than 30 minutes really to get to this place, so.
If despite the fact you're coming from Cameroon, wow.
But the road was so free. I must say, very,
Yes.
very familiar with. We're used to.
Even though. Anyways, a lot of things have happened. It's actually great to have you. It's always different
you
when
for
you're here
having me.
live in the studio. It's very, very nice. Many things happened. First, the Jᴏɪᴜ Festival, as always, it was beautiful. We had celebrities
saw
there.
a lot of pictures,
colorful. The Steez Master himself also showed himself again.
Was it
although-
the biggest tease for
well,
this year?
maybe not for this year, no, but a lot of attention was on him because of last year's paparazzi. But he still looked very good. We were very grateful for the beauty.
But I think there's something about the
of the
venue. It's
festival.
looking smaller for that big event. I don't know. Because I saw that people were overcrowded in that particular arena. So maybe the Ogun State government or the people of Ijebu, they have a lot of big, were practically, pushing themselves around, in that arena. I thought it could have been bigger, better glamorous if it was a bigger arena, well arranged, so that the processions can be
Organized.
better appreciated, because again, you have a lot of people, moving in groups. They call them, is it the Regbe or something, so with all their, beautiful attire, I think that the thinking should now be about how to make it bigger, build a bigger arena for the Jᴏɪᴜ Festival, since it's one of our biggest cultural festival in Nigeria, I think in Africa, as it is.
Well, it was wonderful. Although, even as we're celebrating the Jᴏɪᴜ, we do have in Kano State, the Durbar Festival was cancelled. I
think in
think
Ilorin
twice.
too,
Yes, it's
yeah.
been cancelled twice
Twice,
now.
yeah,
Kano,
because of-
mostly because of insecurity
Security, yeah.
and other things. And the Kano State government have been complaining bitterly. They're, in fact, asking the federal government to compensate
Because
them.
they've lost a lot of money.
do
The
make a lot of
economy
money.
of the state is affected,
Right.
They make a lot of money from some of these festivals. People come around from all over the world. Apart from, the tourism, then look at what tailors are going to make. People making these
Yes.
attires, people selling things.
SMEs.
Transportation, hotels. I can imagine what the hotels will be making, because a lot of these guys will have to stay in some of the hotels around. And it's not just about the Ijebu land. Ogun State generally knows that it's a big event. And I think one of the things I've seen with the Jᴏɪᴜ Festival is that it has now gone beyond the Ijebu people. So you now have people also being a part of it. Actors, actresses have now decided to also be a part of that festival. So a lot of festivity comes with the Leah Festival. I don't know whether it's just what it is, Ojúde-Ọba, the Durbar Festival in Kano. I think the Ilorin people to also have their
they do the
own,
Durbar.
do their Ilorin Durbar. So it was beautiful to see that, despite all, enjoy themselves.
Well, I don't know if this would be considered significant enough for a large discussion, but did you see the story about the pastor Paul Adefarasin? It was a big deal
Yeah, I would have.
on social media where he was accused of pulling a gun on a content creator who films luxury cars. Although he did on the pulpit on Sunday say he wasn't wielding a firearm, he felt.
So what was it?
Well, maybe he would tell us in a separate video, but he said he wasn't wielding a firearm. The content creator came at him aggressively. Maybe that part was not shown in the video, but I did see the video, and he was standing at a very considerable distance
yeah.
from the pastor, except something else happened before the cameras were turned on that we did not see. And he says he wasn't wielding a weapon, but social media was abuzz, and I don't think anybody really took lightly to that interaction that happened between the pastor.
Well, a
and the
little
content
sorry. Just one, two statements to say, look, I apologize. It was a moment of, my off moment or something would have rested the whole issue. But the more you try to explain and rationalize what was clearly an obvious pull of a firearm on an armless individual, you all expect that the social media would take it up seriously with him. Again, the social media has come to stay whether we like it or not. And I think people should understand sides, because again, you are able to see the people also start to use that platform to hold people to account. It's also a platform that has given voice to people who really don't have the voice. Look at what has happened again with the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. The young man that has taken Renault Mokri to the cleaners, basically just putting out the facts the way they are. Mokri has been putting out there because they probably have a better platform, better media, better access to the media. So as citizen journalism, you just have to behave yourself, because before you do something, there's a phone somewhere, there's somebody putting the video out, and it becomes a major issue on that platform. So I think the pastor should stop doing all the shalayin like they see in the street and just apologize and move on.
Right. Well, speaking of moving on, we think that the governor of Lagos State might have been able to find a way to move on from this rumors of a feud that exists between himself and the president. I'm going to play you something, but just before I play you, to put things into proper perspective, be in Lagos, we've had a Fubara who has gone to visit the president, Pastor Tunde Bakare. We've had Ademola Adeleke, his brother Didier Adeleke, even his nephew Davido has gone to visit the president. But he's in first, we saw the video where he was apparently snubbed by the president, who jumped right over him and shaked all the other people. And then all the other projects that the president have been involved in, the governor was nowhere to be found. But I believe yesterday we got a report that a reconciliation had happened. The GAC had accompanied the governor to go see the president, and an insider, nobody was named, or an insider, according to the Guardian newspaper, said that there was no discuss of this is what you did, this is not what you did. They just went there. And the governor did speak to reporters very briefly, yesterday. So I'd like to play you something so that we can now have a conversation about whether all is now uhuru for the governor.
Well, I mean, nothing beyond the fact that he was very happy to see us, extremely very happy to see us. He was very excited that we are one big happy family, and we are not divided in any form, and we all honestly also pledge our full loyalty to him, to his government, to as our leader, as our father, and it was unanimous. And he's charged us to ensure that the forthcoming local government election, which, we're all, that we should all go and do our very best and ensure that, we'll continue to keep the flag of the party flying.
That's what we need you to clarify.
Is you CND? Can't you see when you are smiling, I'm smiling? There's none. There are people that believe that they are more Catholic than the Pope. There are things that you see people, they cry more than they bereave. Father and son, are things that we always ensure that, there's nothing at all. My father is my leader, and we're grateful that he has given us the audience today to come in and say.
Fuad, he says that people are crying more than the breed. You're embarrassed that cut. They already taking shot. You're embarrassed that cut is a new routine. Have people see what you are looking for? They say that people are doing too much. That is normal.
You know the story of quarrels between a husband and wife.
Right. You gotta put your mouth. And
then you gotta put your mouth. So when they reconcile, they will say, you see.
This is what this person said. Yeah. Hey, you're embarrassed that cut is that people see now. I think you they say people are you push
cry more than the bereaved, you see.
Yeah, more Catholic than the Pope.
Well, no problem. Another one will happen. We did here. Because he would have just said, oh, there was no issue. But this idea of telling people that they are crying more than the bereaved, right. I think he basically just threw death at the faces of people
who were trying to defend him.
Well, maybe just trying to probe into what could have been happening and the fact that, look, it was wrong for the president. If there were, of course, there would always be issues. I don't think there's any relationship that is devoid of maybe rancor and issues, and like he said, a father and son relationship. But I think he needs to understand that beyond his own idea of a father and son political party leadership, godfatherism, as he wants to put it, he's the governor of Lagos, and because we are Lagosians, we stay in Lagos. It's within our right to begin to question what's going on between them. Like Barrister Curtis was announcing, was explaining yesterday, it is because of the way we play our politics, Sage. He said, look, the president, for example, was in New Jersey. The governor of New Jersey will probably not even bother to see him, because it's not the culture there. It's not the political culture there. The president can come to the state. But when a president comes to a state, it is not that we force
governor.
There's no, you see, again, it's our culture here.
Right.
You see that the political structure of the state will first be collapsed. Everybody's running helter-skelter to receive the president. And it is not just even people in the state that will be involved.
People from outside.
Everybody from all the region collapses their political structure. Oh, we're going to receive the president. Then you see governors from other regions also flying in. We see all of these things, you know. So first there was an obvious snub, you know, of the president. He refused to shake his hands after shaking others and then just jumping over him to shake other people. And then there was this commissioning of, there was this launching of a new project. The deputy governor was there. The seat of the governor was there. It was empty. And, you know, we've not really seen that affection, the way they go around together. I remember the 1 or 2 times the president has come to Lagos. There was one that the president was praying in the mosque. Sanwo-Olu was not praying, but he sat down just in one corner, very close to the president. That's to show you
how close they
are, you know. So, but again, the governor has told us to shoo our mouth, you know, we are crying more than the bereaved, no problem. You know, we just have to do our job ready to begin to probe into some of these things, you know. But again, the visit yesterday does not totally cancel the notion out there, the impression of the people about the president and the governor. A lot of speculations are out there. People have talked about the Obasa debacle.
Yeah.
People have talked about the fact that, look, the president is still not happy with him because he lost Lagos in the last general election and thought that there was lack of commitment, political commitment on the part of Sanwo-Olu. And there are people who have said that there are also cases of corruption here and there that the president is not really happy about. There are other people who also think the governor is not doing enough on the 2027 agenda of Mr. President.
Right.
And there are also people who think that, look, you know, he seems not to be a guy who is able to put the political structure of Lagos together. There are too many crises within the party and the president is not happy with him. Whatever the issue is, the visit yesterday also has been able to buttress the point that, look, the two of them are not in good terms, really. Because it had to take the GAC, the entire GAC, to follow the governor to see the president. Like, you know, when you commit an offense and the whole community will have to follow you to beg your daddy.
When you impregnate another woman and your family follows you to beg your wife.
Or, you know, the kind of thing that you do and you say, my daddy will kill me today, and then I've not been able to name, but they're saying insider sources at that meeting said that the entire GAC and the whole team had to prostrate.
Yeah.
I don't know whether the GAC leader would do that because prostration has really, but yes. Probably because, again, I think he is one leader of the party in Lagos that the president respects a lot.
Right.
Even the wife of the president speaks highly of him, and I think he's one man that maybe at the level that we are in Lagos and the politics that APC plays, may not find it difficult to get anything from the president. So it was obvious that they went there to beg the president on behalf of the governor. You know, the governor is even reporting that. But for the governor to now say, oh, they are crying more than the bereaved and all of that, well, I don't know. I think he should thank some of us who took up this matter, who were, you know, somehow on his side to say, like, look, he's still the governor of the Lagos state and he should be accorded the respect that a governor deserves no matter what. Who hold, you know, the control of leadership in the state, and I think with Lagos, that's just the fact.
We're still continuing the conversations here this morning. It still trends in the papers on Milan 98.3 FM. I told you that a lot of the stories this morning are developing stories, so we needed to give you the background of the stories before we start to talk about it. And with regards to the rumored discord that exists between the president and the Lagos state governor, according to report, all is well. And the governor says that you're trying to act more Catholic than the Pope. There's no discord. Everything is fine.
No,
everything is well. Stop crying more than the bereaved.
No problem.
End of discussion. They're fine now. That's what the governor says. They're fine now. I leave them alone.
That's why they say when someone comes to you for help or advice. So the governor has told us that Gilo Koimbe.
Exactly.
But I know that another one will happen.
Okay. Well, let's wait and see. For when that okay. Let's wait and see.
Oh, no problem.
We have another report here. Sarah Puriwa urged Tinubu to drop APC Rex fear manipulation. We have the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has urged President Bola Tinubu to reconsider his appointment of alleged members of the All Progressives Congress as resident electoral commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). Sarah urged him to nominate and to submit the names of any such Nigerians for confirmation by the Senate support ahead of the 2027 general election. Serap also urged him to direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi-San, to draft and send a bill to the National Assembly to enhance the independence of INEC in conformity with his oath of office and constitutional requirement ahead of the 2027 general election. So Serap has once again brought to the fore conversations around party affiliation of resident electoral commissioners. There have been conversations around alleged nominations of party members into INEC. Mind you, this is still an allegation, and so they're asking the president to ensure that those who are nominated to perform in any capacity within INEC have no party affiliation, so that we can minimize the risk of manipulation. I think this has happened one time
under Buhari. Yes, this woman, I'm trying to get her name.
I've been struggling to whilst I was speaking simultaneously, but I know the story, but her name is
I think she's from Rivers State. I'll try and get the name out.
So
where she obviously a party member,
yes,
an APC member at that time. She was nominated to be one of the recs, I think in Rivers State or so. But after so much pressure, her name was dropped by President Mohamed, known party members, card-carrying members of the APC, and that look, for us to have better trust in the system, more transparency and assurance and commitment that the right things will be done, that look, these party members should be dropped. I don't know. Again, I've always questioned whether there's real commitment to free, fair, credible elections in 2027. It's one question that we should continue to ask ourselves. Is the government of the day committed? And your commitment is not just about what you say. It's about the things you do, the little things you do, and the big things you do, and some of the things you don't even do that some of the things you do that people are not aware of. It's just a personal thing. So this is the question. How committed are we as the government to a free, fair, credible election in 2027? I'll give you an example. The late Umaru Musa Yar'Adua was a man that was committed to better electoral process for the country. And he didn't just say it. We saw him taking steps. He took actions to say that, look, this is exactly what I want to do going forward with elections in Nigeria. His commitment started by first saying that, look, I benefited from what I consider a flawed electoral process. But because the courts have ruled that, yes, there seems to be a problem, there was a problem in the elections, but again, the court does not just work with emotions or sentiment. You have to be able to prove your case.
Right.
The opposition have not been able to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that the elections were flawed. So they had to affirm the victory of Yar'Adua. But he said that, I will accept the verdict of the court, but I'm going to ensure that, look, as president, we will not have these kinds of elections again. And so that was when he set up that committee of the now late, Chief Justice, Justice Momodu Ways, who passed just a few days ago, at the age of 89 or so. God bless him. Ensure that, look, recs are not also appointed by the president.
Yeah.
Let's have the NJC. Let's have independent bodies be in charge of things.
Even the INEC chairman himself.
The INEC chairman to the last person should not be appointed. Because again, the idea is to ensure that, look, you have people who are truly independent-minded to do the job. When you say it's independent electoral commission, we should see that independence in their funding, in the appointments of their principal officers and what have you. They came up with that recommendation. Yar'Adua passed. He could not implement that recommendation. And president after president have just been
ignored it.
They've ignored the document. Look, everything that we need, Sage, to reform the electoral process is in that document. Some of us have reviewed the document over and over again, and we can take it from there. Let us even start some of this reform, because we are peculiar people. We have our local peculiarities. In the abroad, for example, in some countries, party members conduct these elections, but they will do the right thing.
Right.
In the US, for example, because the presidential election is not even conducted by a central electoral commission. It is by the states, state by state, and the states. The elections are conducted at the state by the governors. They take charge of the electoral process.
Trump had a problem with one governor who refused.
And who was a Trump supporter and a registered Republican.
If you're that confident, let people
That was when Biden won him. And when he said that, look, you've lost in this state, we're going to do the right thing. He did it, irrespective of his party affiliations or his support or love for Trump. So ordinarily, if we're people that are wired to always do the right thing irrespective, maybe we'll not be talking about who appoints who in INEC, but we know who we are, we know what we do. And that's why we're saying that, okay, for transparency, since we are not the people that live beyond our own personal sentiments and emotions, can we just ensure that we take the responsibility of appointing these people away from the president, even the issue of funding, so that they can truly just do the job without the fear that, oh, I could be removed, or, oh, I'm a party member, and that's even the reason why I was nominated into INEC in the first place. But again, the question is,
who bailed the cat?
Who's going to bail the cat? And where is the commitment going to come from to ensure that, look, we reform the entire electoral process for free, fair, credible election in 2027? Yes. Where will the commitment come from?
Speaking of 2027, I can't believe I almost forgot this. Umoino finally has defected to the APC. So what exactly was all the aggression towards the reporter that told us earlier, the reporter that was removed from the government house because he didn't want the publication to... I mean, you were going to leave anyway, so why were you so upset about it? He says he's going just because he wants to be closer to the center. He aligns himself with the progressive moves of this administration. And this is, a state that has been largely of the PDP. It's such a sporadic change. So Fuad, again, I'll just ask a simple question, because the analysis that has trailed his defection is this self-preservation, or is this really about the interest of the people? So I guess I'll just pose that question to you.
Take away the interest of the people from the conversation totally.
You never allow me finish asking.
No, you see, we know now. There's nothing about the people they pretend and most times say it's about the people, but we know.
wants to bring development to the people by getting closer to the center.
Don't we have APC states in Nigeria? How much development have they gotten in their states now since they have been in the center? And the same state is talking about for 16 years, the Akwa Ibom was of the center. You see, again, politicians are people who pretend that their own personal interests are that of the interests of the people. There's a way they paraphrase it. They paint that picture to say, my interest is the interest of the people. Pastor Omoino was just looking at maybe his political future. The era we are in now, all opposition governors now are being coerced one way or the other to leave their party to join the ruling party. In fact, I just got a story now that even where this idea has come from, that we're suddenly in an era where all opposition governors are now being coerced somehow into the ruling party. So Governor Umo Eno has taken a political decision, and you can see that one of the commissioners, the commissioner for special duties in the state, a young man, has said that, look, you can't coerce me like you have been coerced to join the APC. I have my own convictions and principles. And the guy has resigned from his cabinet.
Yes.
I'm not going to go with you. I'm not going to go with you. He already warned them that, look,
go with me or resign.
And the guy has taken a honorable part to say, look, it's fine. And there are people like that who are people of conviction and principles. We have to commend the young commissioner who took that decision to say, look, I'm going to leave your government because, again, this is not just right. But again, it is what it is. We'll see where it all leads. All these people jumping ship, people, look at one of the people that came to visit the president in Lagos, Segun Showunmi.
Yeah.
And I had to trade a jab at Tede Misaka, one of his, a very good friend, who is also his friend. And you see, a lot of these guys are just good at talking. Of course, they have access to the media. They have that rhetoric. They can put words together. But when you check, there's no conviction and there's no principle anywhere.
But Fatai, do you think that an obvious disagreement is usually proof of your disagreement with the person's policy? I might not like your policy, but it doesn't mean that I'll see you in the morning and not talk to you. Well, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Well, nobody's saying they should fight physically or not greet one another.
Is a visit to the president really a testament to the fact that they have automatically aligned themselves with the principles of the president?
Well, you see, they will tell you it's a friendly visit, but we know what your boss will say, I'm sure you know that.
I can dance without my hands.
No. There's no way you dance. The hand must first start the movement, So, in reality, you see, these are the first steps you first get before you eventually see. Remember the same Segun Showunmi told Daniel Bwala, reserve a place for me. When in one of his interviews, he told him, just reserve a place for me in that place. It's all transactional, Sage. It's all transactional. These guys are looking for where their bread will be buttered. You know, they pretend as if they are nationalists. They pretend as if they are committed to nation building. Again, because they have access to the media and can speak a lot of English, they continue to bamboozle. I was telling by Sağᴇ, I'm not one of the people that Sağᴇ for example. Where had posted about him that when they were in the days of unionism, now so they do. He talk. When it comes to real action, he's missing. So, and my mind tells me that you will see. You see, there would always be justification for them to move. In fact, they would have manufactured the reason. Just looking for the right time to put it out there. They cause the problem. They create the reasons. And the people have to become more cautious about these people we're talking about. It's all transactional. And we are left to continue to watch and see how they are transacting amongst themselves. Whereas in a democracy, it's supposed to be about the people. But they just move around doing their own thing. Look at when Davido was having issues with the APC in the past and people were jumping. I've just told them, you've seen the Davido, the governor, his uncle. I've gone to see the president. You will be in the street fighting, abusing yourself, insulting yourself.
Yeah, cooking for each other in the kitchen.
Don't be surprised that in Osun, everybody will eventually align. But do you know how many people have died?
Especially with the local government crisis.
Local government crisis.
Right.
On this issue of Israel, Adeleke, do you know how people have died when Adeleke was going to become governor because they wanted him to become governor, or Oyetola has to go? But whereas they have a way of resolving their own issues when they have to allow their interests to align. So let the people wisen up, get wise, understand the game, and not get too emotional about these guys. And that was why I said, I'm sorry, Sağᴇ is not going to surprise me if I find him tomorrow as a member of the APC.
Well,
it is what it is.
Well, again, maybe they just want to get close to the center so that they can bring development
to
the people.
Which people?
Nigerians.
Okay, I hear you.
This is still trending in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. We're still live on Facebook and on YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Sage Babalola. We have one side with us, aka FᴜＧᴅ, live in the studio. All this hyping is not
an exclusive name. It's not for the public.
Even though he's live with us here in the studio, we're super excited to have him. It's still the holiday, so I believe you're at home having a great time, but you're still catching up on the reports that we have. Let's talk now about the national issue and just leave parties alone for now. Let's talk about PMS. Now, Dangote Refinery should sell petrol below 800 naira per litre. That's what the marketers are saying.
Ipman, huh?
Yeah. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has said interview with correspondents stated that the refinery had the necessary enabling factors to sell petrol below its current ex-staple price. He was reacting to a comment by the president of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, that the refinery contributed to the consistent drop in fuel prices to a level that Nigerians pay about 55% of what other West African pays for petrol. And according to him, many of these West African countries do not produce crude oil, nor do they have refinery of PMS.
So Ipman owns the refinery?
No, it's for Dangote.
And so
last week Dangote had put out a comment that because of his influence and his refinery, we've been able to pay at least 50%. But the marketers are saying Dangote can even further bring the price down because they have the capacity to do so. So the question is, first of all, what are the things that really determine the price? I mean, access to crude oil is one of the most significant.
They talked about the naira for crude,
cost of operation, naira for crude. But if Dangote is importing the bulk of his crude, there are still costs of operation that you have to put in place when you are determining.
That's why I was asking you the question.
Price.
I'm asking you the question. Are they the owners of the refinery? What amount of intel do they have about his operations? His cost analysis? Yes, I'm with you.
If he was getting adequate crude,
if
would this have been a reasonable thing to say?
You see, before you talk about fair pricing,
right?
It means you have to have a complete knowledge, information, and outlook of what the operations of the company is. So as an outsider, you might be within the oil sector as a stakeholder, but you are not the one that runs the refinery. Because again, a lot of times you see that Dangote in his statement sounds politically correct. He tries to rub the ego of the president. He tries to, because again, he also needs the support of the government locally. For the business to continue to thrive, for the president to continue to go on. So you find that a lot of times, if I imagine the last time, I think when the president said it, and he said that, this refinery is a brainchild of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I'm like, maybe this is just trying to, make the president feel good, because the whole story about how the refinery came up never had a Tinubu conversation in it. But suddenly, Dangote is telling us that, look, this refinery is a brainchild. Tinubu.
I mean, he borrowed money from the CBN.
I'm saying that was the Buhari era. That was even under Emefiele, the same Emefiele we want. So I'm just saying that. But there's nothing wrong. The man needs to also play his own politics. He needs to also get in the good books of the president and the government, because again, there are one or two favors he might be needing from them. And like the biggest one is the Naira for crude policy,
right,
which the president somehow has been able to sustain. So we understand all of that. But you said this issue of pricing is not something that you can just stay somewhere and continue to assume for the man. That's what I'm trying to say. Because again, maybe if not for Dangote, we'll still be buying at over 1,000 Naira plus.
Although he says that if we can strengthen the Naira a little bit, that landing cost would also reduce and Dangote can sell cheaper.
Now, we're talking of landing cost because, again, we still have a situation where Dangote is still importing crude. Right. Again, the dollar factor is very critical because, again, in the entire value chain of how crude is gotten, how it's processed into refined petroleum products, you still have the dollar conversation. If the dollar, say it, today, goods factor is also a major factor. Also remember, say that even the Naira for crude, you are only buying in Naira, but the equivalent of the dollars.
It's just people are not searching for dollars.
But if the dollar is selling at 1,650, it means that you'll be buying crude at the equivalent of the dollar price that you would have paid. So the cost is still there, even though you are buying in Naira. So all of this, but I don't know how IPMAN has done their calculation to say that it should have been selling for 700 Naira per litre. If
the Naira improves.
So is it the job of Dangote to improve the Naira against the dollar?
Perhaps not.
And so and whereas the other thing was supposed to be the competition that would have come up if other refineries were fully...
They are maintaining it at the moment.
What is the state of our two refineries now?
Maintenance. Shut down for maintenance.
Port Harcourt and Warri.
Maintenance.
Yes. How many months did you operate that we are shutting it down for maintenance?
You don't know what is going on. It have not worked for many, many years.
Yeah, but we said it's now working, and in just 2-3 months, we shut it down again, both for maintenance.
What's the name of this man? Femi. What's the name of Mr. Femi?
So it's just what it is, and I think that, look, we should even be thanking God that we have a Dangote refinery at this time, because with what we've seen with foreign exchange, the removal of subsidy, just imagine that we are still just importing PMS into this country. You understand what I'm saying? If there was no local competition, no matter what anybody thinks about it, that we remove subsidy the way the president removed it, we floated the Naira the way we floated it, and we are still only on importation of refined petroleum products. Imagine how much we'll be buying it now. Because these marketers will show us shaggy. But again, maybe one day we'll still see the president fulfill his promise of Amagbewale. We are waiting. I will continue to talk about Amagbewale.
Well, regarding the articulate coalition against Tinubu, we have Yakasai who says that particular coalition will fail. He's the Director General of the Tinubu Support Group, and in a chat with newsmen in Abuja, he says that the opposition coalition being led by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to scuttle the re-election of President Tinubu of the the development, since the APC had also lost their members to the opposition political parties in the country. And he says the articulate coalition cannot be trusted by Nigerians because they failed in the past when given the opportunity to govern the country, adding that Tinubu was trying to clear the mess that they left behind by putting Nigeria on a path to development. So this is an APC stalwart who has said that the facts on ground show that this coalition will fail. And even with all of the cordiality we've seen which is supposed to give, and he says the PDP have had their time, they did not do a great job, and in fact the APC is now caught in the web of trying to fix the mistakes that the PDP had made. Well, what are your thoughts about his notion?
You know, I really don't like to talk about parties, political parties. I know. But what I will tell Nigerians on this Tanko Yakasai statement is that, look, the politicians can fail themselves. So whether the coalition fails or not, or whether the APC fails or not in 2027, Nigerians should not fail themselves.
Right.
We should not fail ourselves. Events is what we are still going to pick from.
Yeah.
The APC most likely will throw President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as his candidate. The Labour Party, we don't know. whether Peter Obi will still emerge as the candidate of that party.
We shall see.
The coalition is still floating. They are still so where they will eventually emerge, we don't know. But I know they will emerge somewhere. I think they are already talking about the possibility of registering a new party.
Doesn't it take like a year?
No, somehow they should be able to do that because again, I think what they have in mind is that look, the APC must have infiltrated all these other parties.
So they want to do.
So and they want to play it safe because
the people that will join a new party.
Because somehow they went into the SDP, they saw that look, a faction will soon emerge from this party. They were looking at the ADC somehow. They saw that there might be a problem in the ADC too, and the Supreme Court judgment.
Yeah, that they cannot put mouth in
party matters is the major problem now. So once your party has a problem,
that's between you and God.
And God, because no court can intervene. So I think these guys understand that. Look, that judgment in itself, they have to put their minds on it and be very, very careful. So fails at the end of the day. Nigerians, please don't fail yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, Iṛsᴛsoዄ, my mentor, has decided that there is a possibility. Yes, my mentor. Because I feel like he's stubborn. I'm joking. He's not my mentor. The Fᴜဃᴜ is my mentor. We have because of Salamit. We have 34 embassies risk closure this Tuesday. So it's not just political parties, secretariat that is going through a lot. They are owing ground rent. These embassies, 11 years, they've been owing ground rent.
These are small. I think that maybe not because there's no money to pay. It may just be that look, they are not really like keen on.
I mean, why?
They don't take it serious.
Big deals. We
so again, Wike thinks that look, they must pay these monies, and I'm sure somehow they will all resolve all this. These are that look, why is Wike talking about ground rent? Is it just because of the PDP secretariat?
It doesn't even matter why he's doing it.
But they should not be owing. They should also pay. So it's fine.
I mean, across all social strata and all political strata, everybody is seeing shege from Wike's hand. So the shege that one Fubara is seeing, everybody sees, it's not peculiar to them. It's across board. Everybody will collect.
Time will tell. Where it all ends.
It's going to be on our social. Social media is a gog.
Well. I think that since you've raised it, we need to say that. Look,
right.
I've seen a lot of conversations now around who is a trained journalist and who is not a trained journalist.
Right.
And I think we need to tell them. At least nobody defeats say we are not a trained journalist. Wait, just calm down. Like at least they can't. None of them can come and tell me now that Fuadu, you are not a trained journalist. So. That's number two. Some of the best journalists in the world, when I say best, the award-winning journalists, whether in the print or broadcast media, did not have their first degree in journalism, not in mass communication. If I lost in other courses, a long list. Even I'm not even sure a Bayo Onanuga has a first degree in journalism as it were. Some of them led job. So if they are not comfortable with Rufai Oseni, they have other platforms now. Why must they go there? No. It's just what it is. There are platforms that they like. We know some of their own people who are also journalists who will never say anything wrong in what they are doing. So if they are not happy with Rufai Oseni, they are always so happy to go there because they know those guys are doing something that is right. And we talk about developmental journalism. Journalism is not to make the politicians feel good or to make them happy. Because we are in an era where the media, as the fourth estate of realm, must continue to hold their feet to fire, probe. Look, the same Bayo Onanuga today, didn't they know the kind of journalism he did? Larry Olayinka himself just has a diploma from one institute in journalism. I'm not even sure it's a recognized institute. The same Larry Olayinka, does he have a background in journalism?
We have to go.
Can a Larry Olayinka come and tell us that he's a journalist? He himself, Larry Olayinka. He has just a diploma from, I can't even remember the institute where he got the diploma from.
Right, let's take a break so we can come back for Mainland Focus. We have taken out of our time for commercials, but we'll be back. Don't go anywhere.